Hello and welcome to EduMiles Academy. In today's session, we'll be discussing some important newspaper articles from 13th September 2022. For more study materials and updates, you can also join our WhatsApp group. The link for the group will be provided in the description below. So these are the list of topics that we'll discuss in today's session. And let's start. The first article is about the food security in India. Now, this article is based on a newspaper editorial which was published in the Indian Express recently. Now, this article, the central idea behind this article is that it focuses on the need to set restrictions on the reserve that the private sector can hold. So, it is mostly dependent on the food security of India. And regarding food security of India, you must know that this is a very important component of GS paper 3 from agriculture or the need of security, need of food security point of view. So what is food security? It is the state of having reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable and nutritious food. For example, if we say that Arunachal Pradesh is a food secure state or a food secure region, it means that the population of the state has an access to affordable and nutritious food, which is also sufficient in quantity. The central idea behind this article is that in order to maintain food security of India, if you want to maintain or secure the food security in India, we need to set restrictions on how much reserves the private sectors can hold so that they cannot hoard for the future use. So what we get to see at times is that the private sector companies जो होता है ना, वो sometimes they get involved in hoarding of the food commodities and they would later sell them off at a very higher price at times of scarcity. So food security is very important part for the main syllabus, especially from the GS paper 3 point of view. So as I was saying about food security, so this concept of food security is multifaceted. इसका meaning क्या? It has got multiple dimensions. So food is an essential for living as air is for breathing. So दोनों ही air and food are equally important for life. But food security means something more than getting 2 square meals. That is, it is not just having 2 meals in a day. It has got the following dimensions. So number 1 is availability, then accessibility and affordability. What is availability? It means food production. Availability includes the food which is produced in India, the foods that India has imported, and also the food that India has stored in the government granaries. Accessibility, it means food is within reach of every person without any kind of discrimination. And affordability, it implies that having enough money to buy sufficient safe and nutritious food to meet one's dietary needs. So if you see availability, अगर आप देखोगे ये जो food grains है, now अगर if I say that this food grain जो है, they should be available, accessible and affordable as well. Available का meaning ये होता है कि the availability would ensure we get enough supplies of food. Then accessibility ensures that the food is within our reach only, and affordability ensures we are financially sound enough to afford the required amount of nutrients. So, thus food security is ensured in a country only when sufficient food is available for everyone, if everyone has the means to purchase the food of acceptable quantity and if there are no barriers to access. So what is the current state of food security in India? So India का जो हालत है वो थोड़ा सा poor है, वो आप देखोगे the scenario in India is a little disappointing. Why? Because out of 116 countries, India has been ranked 101 at the global hunger index. So आप देखोगे यहाँ पे यही indicate करता है कि a large population of India is still hungry, you can say. ठीक है? According to the 2021 report, and according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, the food price index has increased by 30% in the year 2021 to 2022. So this indicates the inflation which is applicable in the food prices as well. So India has experienced remarkable economic growth in recent years. As I told you, it is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Recently, I have also covered an article where I have told you that India has achieved the 5th largest economy of the world by surpassing the United Kingdom. However, the poverty and food insecurity in India are still areas of concern in spite of many such achievements. Food is considered as a basic amenity which is essential for sustenance, development and growth of an individual. In India, you should know there are still concerns or vulnerabilities related to the food security in India, owing to certain factors like the ever-increasing population, the climate change, and also the disruptions in the global supply chain, which has taken place because of the COVID pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war. So these particular things there's going to be addressed in the future. So now let's look at the current framework for the food security in India. So first is about the constitutional provision. So the constitution जो है Indian constitution does not directly contain any provision about the right to food, but यहाँ पे जो article 21 है which speaks about the right to life. Now this can be interpreted to include the right to life with right to live with human dignity, which अगर आपको यहाँ पे if you want to live a life with human dignity, then definitely it would include the right to food and other basic necessities as well, right? So right to food जो है it is not directly a fundamental right, but article 21 it provides for right to life. ठीक है, article 21 it provides for life. So it is यहाँ पे बताया जाता है कि it is not a just life of survival, but also with human dignity which can be ensured only through minimum nutrition levels and other basic amenities like sanitation हो गया, water हो गया, etc. ठीक है. Then buffer stock. The Food Corporation of India, the FCI, has the prime responsibility of procuring the food grains at the MSP, that is the minimum support price, and store it in their warehouses at different locations, and from there it is supplied to the state governments in terms of requirement. So buffer stock क्या होता है? So FCI क्या करता है? FCI procure करता है the food grains from the farmers at the MSP, और वो maintain करते हैं a reserve stock आप कह सकते हो, that is a buffer stock of the grains, then make the buffer stock available for the various states in terms of their requirements. उसके बाद आता है PDS, that is the public distribution system. So public distribution system जो it has become an important part of government's policy for management of the food economy in the country. So under the PDS क्या होता है? Presently the commodities namely wheat, rice, sugar and kerosene are being allocated to the states and unities for distribution, and some other states are also having some other kind of commodities like pulses, edible oils, iodized oil, spices, etc. ठीक है. अब ये जो PDS का जो distribution है ना, distribution जो यहाँ पे बताया गया है about distribution through the government's end, तो ये distribution is done to the consumers through the fair price shop, to the FPS, आपने सुना होगा शायद, जिसे राशन दुकान भी कहा जाता है. So this is done mostly at the subsidized prices. And also there is this act known as the National Food Security Act of 2013. अब ये जो act है, this act was mostly enacted after the Supreme Court's judgment that right to food is a fundamental right under the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Now this act provided a kind of legal attire to the judgment. ठीक है, ये जो act है, now this provided a kind of legal backing you can say to the judgment. So it is mostly meant for the very poor or the vulnerable sections of the society. तो यहाँ पे बताया गया है कि it marks a paradigm shift in the approach to food security from welfare to right-based approach. ठीक है. So अब ये जो act है, it covers 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population, and the schemes like यहाँ पे भी scheme यहाँ पे implement किया जाता है. For example, the अंत्योदया अन्न योजना. So this scheme is meant for the poorest of the poor who are entitled to receive 35 kg of food grains per household per month. एक महीने में एक फैमिली को 35 kg of food grains दिया जाता है. उसके बाद आता है प्रायोरिटी हाउसहोल्ड. तो इस स्कीम में क्या होता है? हाउसहोल्ड कवर्ड अंडर दिस स्कीम, अंडर दिस प्रायोरिटी हाउसहोल्ड कैटेगरी आर एंटाइटल्ड टू रिसीव 5 kg ऑफ फूड ग्रेन पर पर्सन पर मंथ. मतलब एक पर्सन को इन अ मंथ यहाँ पे 5 kg ऑफ फूड ग्रेन दिया जाएगा. इन एडिशन द एक्ट लेज डाउन स्पेशल provision for children as well who are aged between 6 months and 14 years old, which allows them to receive a nutritious meal for free में दिया जाएगा through a widespread network of ICDS, that is the Integrated Child Development Services, which is also known as the आंगनवाड़ी centers. तो यहाँ पे क्या दिया जाएगा? इन children को मुफ्त में खाना भी दिया जाएगा to ensure the minimum nutrition level of the children. तो you must have also heard about the midday meal scheme, right? जो स्कूल में दिया जाता है. It is also defined under the National Food Security Act of 2013 only to provide nutritious food to students going to government schools from class 1 से लेके class 8 तक. याद रखिएगा. So as I was saying about the food security of India, you can prelims के लिए this topic is not that significant, but then again ये जो schemes मैंने आपको बताया है, तो ये schemes से कभी आपको question directly पूछा जाता है in the prelims as well, but mains के लिए this topic is of utmost importance. ठीक है. अब ये जो challenges है, challenges or the issues related to the food security of India are also asked in the mains examination. So now let's have a look at them as well. So the challenges related to food security in India. Number one is about the deterioration deteriorating soil health. So soil degradation due to excessive or inappropriate use of agrochemicals, deforestation and natural calamities is a significant challenge to sustainable food production. About 1/3 of the earth में जितना भी soil है ना, 1/3, that is the top layer of the earth जो है, at least यहाँ पे about 1/3 is already degraded. ठीक है. So the soil क्या करता है? Soil you should know कि determines the production level of the crops. So too much use of fertilizers हो गया, chemicals हो गया, etc. Especially ये इंडिया के केस में हुआ था the green revolution time of 1960s के टाइम में. So this has already led to the degradation of the soil, which affects the production levels of the crops. ठीक है. Then invasive weed threats के, अब देखिए in the past 15 years India has faced more than 10 major invasive pest and weed attacks. Example यहाँ पे 2018 में आप देखोगे, if you remember, there was a fall armyworm pest which is a pest, तो इसका एक अटैक हुआ था in the state of तमिलनाडु के केस में, in South India में. ठीक है. which affected the maize production in the country 2018. और इसी वजह से next year में यहाँ पे because of the low harvest के कारण क्या होना, यहाँ पे इंडिया को क्या करना पड़ा, it had to import maize in 2019 due to the damage caused by the pest in 2018. ठीक है. So the fall armyworm pest was reported from the regions of Tamil Nadu and also our neighbors, that is Sri Lanka as well. So in the COVID times you must have also heard about the locust attack हुआ था. If you remember, COVID in the year 2020 के टाइम में locust attack भी हुआ था in places like Gujarat and Rajasthan. तो such attacks are harmful for the crop production. उसके बाद lack of efficient management framework. So India lacks any kind of strict management framework for food security. जो PDS जो मैंने बताया है, there is supply of food grains to the fair price shop और राशन दुकान. Now they face challenges like leakages. यहाँ पे corruption वगैरह होता है at various levels. Diversion of food grains, often it is seen that the FCI हो गया या मान लीजिए the fair price shop. What they do is that they sometimes sell the food grains to the retailers at low prices. ठीक है. देन इंक्लूजन और एक्सक्लूजन एरर्स, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि जिसको मिलना नहीं चाहिए राशन कार्ड उनको मिल जाता है, जिनको मिलना चाहिए उनको नहीं मिलता है. ठीक है. फेक एंड बोगस राशन कार्ड एंड वीक ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल एंड सोशल ऑडिट मैकेनिज्म. देन क्लाइमेट चेंज. द मॉनसून अकाउंट्स फॉर अराउंड 70% ऑफ इंडियाज एनुअल रेनफॉल. अब देखिए इंडिया जो है ना, इट इज एग्रीकल्चर यहाँ पे वन ऑफ द मेन स्टे ऑफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमी है. और ये जो एग्रीकल्चर है, इट समहाउ आप देखोगे मैक्सिमम केसेस में ये डिपेंड करता है किसके ऊपर, it depends on the monsoon. ठीक है. monsoon के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. mostly it is the southwest monsoon which causes 70% of the India's rainfall. जून से लेकर सितंबर तक ये रहता है monsoon का महीना. and it also naturally irrigates 60% of its net sown area. Especially you will find places like India के केस में अगर आप देखोगे the North Indian plains में जितने भी सारे states है, for example आप देखोगे वेस्ट बंगाल, बिहार, यूपी, तो ऐसे सारे जगहों पे you will find कि जो इरिगेशन होता है ना, इट इज नेचुरली डन थ्रू दी रेन वाटर. ठीक है. सो चेंजिंग प्रेसिपिटेशन, अब करेंटली अभी क्या हो चुका है, क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण मॉनसून कभी आप कह सकते हो कभी जो यहाँ पे स्केड्यूल टाइम रहता है उससे कभी आगे आ जाता है, कभी बाद में आता है. जितना एक्सपेक्टेड रेनफॉल अमाउंट है वहाँ पे कभी नहीं होता है, तो इट लीड्स टू ड्रॉट लाइक सिचुएशन. कभी उससे ज्यादा हो जाता है तो उसमें फ्रीक्वेंट फ्लड होता है. आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? दिस आर ऑल द आउटकम्स ऑफ व्हाट, ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज ओनली. ठीक है. दिस आर ऑल एन आउटकम ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज. एंड ऑल्सो you'll find phenomena like heat waves hai, floods hai. Now these are already reducing the agricultural productivity in India, posing a serious threat to the food security. Then supply chain disruption due to the unstable global order. I told you about the COVID-19 pandemic and also about the Russia-Ukraine war which is currently going on itself. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे क्या हुआ है, ये जो दो events now they have disrupted the global supply chain and resulted in food scarcity and food inflation. So Russia and Ukraine, they represent 27% of the world's market for wheat. Then 26 countries, mainly from Africa, West Asia and Asia, that depend on the imports of यहाँ पे जो रशिया जो एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं, रशिया एंड यूक्रेन जो जितना भी यहाँ पे व्हीट वगैरह एक्सपोर्ट करता है तो उस पर डिपेंड करता है. सो डेफिनेटली दिस कंट्रीज हु डिपेंड ऑन रशिया एंड यूक्रेन, नाउ दे हैड टू फेस अ काइंड ऑफ सेटबैक. ठीक है. सो व्हेन द सप्लाई चेन वाज इनिशियली डिसरप्टेड, क्या हुआ था, इंडिया वाज कमिटेड इन प्रोवाइडिंग द इंपोर्टिंग कंट्रीज जो भी है ना, यहाँ पे जो 26 कंट्रीज का बात हुआ है. सो इंडिया वाज कमिटेड इन हेल्पिंग देम लाइक बाय प्रोवाइडिंग विद द requisite levels of grains like wheat. But later we witnessed some private companies, both domestic and the foreign companies, they started to procure huge amount of grains at lower prices, which were signs of hoarding. Hoarding में क्या होता है, सामान पहले कम दाम में यहाँ पे स्टोर किया जाता है, उसके बाद जब स्कैरसिटी होता है तो ज़्यादा दाम में बेचा जाता है। तो ये होर्डिंग के साइंस यहाँ पे नजर आने लगे। सो लेटर क्या किया, इंडिया हैड पुट अ बैन ऑन द एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ व्हीट। तो इसी टॉपिक के बेसिस पर यहाँ पे दिया गया है एक मेंस प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन। आई हैव ट्राइड टू एक्सप्लेन यू दिस टॉपिक इन अ कम्प्रिहेंसिव मैनर। अगर आपको समझ में आ गया देन यू कैन ऑल्सो अटेम्प्ट दिस आंसर। एंड रिमेंबर, आई ऑलवेज टेल कि मेंस के लिए आंसर राइटिंग इज अ वेरी इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ द प्रिपरेशन। So the next article is about the Greyhounds. So Greyhounds it refers to special forces of police. Okay. So this article is important for the paper tree. In the paper tree, you will find this international security portion where you will be asked questions about terrorism and remedial measures. So this article has been taken from the Hindu. Now this article is based on on an editorial actually, which is published in the Hindu, which speaks about the lack of training facility for one of the most special police forces of India, which is known as the Greyhounds. They belong to the state of Andhra Pradesh, but after the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana in 2014, Greyhound currently belongs to both the states. Okay, so Greyhound are trained at par with the NSG forces. They have to undergo one of the toughest training phases in the country. So you can serve in the hounds. ये जो Greyhounds है, आप इसमें serve कर सकते हो only for a limited time, mostly till you attain the age of 35, and then you have to return to your parent unit of the civil police. सो ये जो आंध्र प्रदेश है ना, दे क्रिएटेड यहाँ पे उन्होंने ही मतलब ये आप बता सकते हो कि दे ओनली इनिशिएटेड दिस ग्रेहाउंड पुलिस फोर्स। एंड ये जो ग्रेहाउंड है, दे हैव आल्सो क्रिएटेड अ ग्रेट नेटवर्क ऑफ ऑपरेटर्स एंड इन्फॉर्मर्स हु कैन मॉनिटर एवरी एक्टिविटी ऑफ द नक्सल्स इन द साइड। तो ये मोस्टली टारगेटेड है अगेंस्ट द नक्सल, अगेंस्ट द माओइस्ट हु ऑपरेट्स इन द स्टेट ऑफ आंध्र प्रदेश एज वेल एज तेलंगाना। So let's learn about the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds is a police special force unit of the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, formed in 1989 में form हुआ था by Indian Police Service Officer K.S. Vyas. This name is important from the police perspective to combat the growing Maoist threat in the region. तो Maoist और Naxal का जो यहाँ पे network applicable है, which is like quite harmful for the various developmental work of the state, तो इसके against में ही ये force start किया गया था by IPS officer K.S. Vyas. So this specializes in counter-insurgency operations against the Naxalite and Maoist terrorists and trained specifically for deep forest pursuit and combat. ठीक है। सो पर्पस तो यहाँ पे क्या है, पर्पस वाज टू टैकल द एवर ग्रोइंग प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द स्टेट व्हिच इज फेस्ड ड्यू टू द ग्रोइंग माओइस्ट थ्रेट। ठीक है, तो डीप फॉरेस्ट आप यहाँ पे देखोगे कि डीप फॉरेस्ट में ट्रेनिंग होता है। सो दे आर ट्रेन टू फाइट अंडर सीवियर कंडीशंस। सो एज आई टोल्ड, एट par with the NSG ओनली। ठीक है, सो ग्रेहाउंड्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ पेड इन्फॉर्मेंट्स एट द विलेज लेवल, दैट इज द सिविलियंस को वो पे करते हैं फॉर इन्फॉर्मेशंस, हैव मैनेज्ड टू अरेस्ट और किल सेवरल टॉप माओइस्ट टेररिस्ट। So Greyhound from the Andhra Police and Telangana Police, they continue to operate jointly even after the bifurcation of the Andhra Pradesh in the year 2014 में। ठीक है, so they generally operate as small units of 15 to 30 commandos each that conduct combing operations in jungles. All the Greyhounds commandos are under the age of 35 in order to ensure agility, strength and stamina. So when a member of the force turns 35, they are automatically transferred to the civil police. तो पर्सन्स एबव अ स्पेसिफिक एज जो है, दैट इज आप कह सकते हो 35 के ऊपर, यहाँ पे इसीलिए अलाउड नहीं है बिकॉज इट इज अ स्पेशल फोर्सेस पुलिस। तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना, तो इसमें क्या होता है, जो टास्क दे नीड टू कैरी आउट, नाउ इट रिक्वायर्स काइंड ऑफ एनर्जी और स्टेमिना विच आर वाइटल टू द इंडिविजुअल्स। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे माओइज्म क्या, इट इज अ फॉर्म ऑफ कम्युनिज्म डेवलप्ड बाय माओ सेटुंग। इट इज अ डॉक्ट्रिन टू कैप्चर स्टेट पावर थ्रू अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ आर्म्ड इंसर्जेंसी, मास मोबिलाइजेशन एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंसेस। तो इसी माओइज्म विच इज applicable, which is you can say which is applicable in the state of in the eastern states, basically for example Chhattisgarh हो गया, then West Bengal, then you'll find it also in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. तो इसी के against में this forces had been started. So the activities of the Naxalism or Maoist जो होते हैं ना, these are mostly affecting the states like West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, so especially in the less developed areas of the states in the eastern India. ठीक है, सो दिस ग्रेहाउंड जो है, द फोर्सेस दैट इज द ग्रेहाउंड्स, दे हैव एक्चुअली फॉर्म्ड अ काइंड ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन फॉर स्टेट्स व्हिच आर अफेक्टेड बाय लेफ्ट विंग टेररिज्म लाइक नक्सलिज्म एंड माओइज्म। तो ये जो नक्सलिज्म एंड माओइज्म है, इनको लेफ्ट विंग टेररिज्म भी कहा जाता है। तो द रोल मॉडल आप देखोगे, द ग्रेहाउंड्स हैव इंस्पायर्ड द क्रिएशन ऑफ अदर सिमिलर फोर्सेस इन द लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म अफेक्टेड स्टेट्स। ओडिशा हैव डेवलप्ड द स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस ग्रुप। महाराष्ट्र हैज started the C60 and West Bengal have created the counter insurgency force. ठीक है, so these are the forces which are based on this model only. So experts also say that the Cobra battalion of the CRPF, which is engaged in anti-Maoist operation in Chhattisgarh, is also fashioned on the lines of the Greyhounds itself. ठीक है, ये Greyhounds पे ही based है, it has taken inspiration from the Greyhounds, ये experts का कहना है. ठीक है, so what is the status of Greyhounds after bifurcation? So you should know कि before 2014 they were operating for only one state, but after the passing of the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014, which bifurcated the state into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, so this has made provision on sharing the men and material of the Greyhound. So ये जो forces है ना, तो इनका जो men and material है ना, this will be shared by both the states, that is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So the act also specified that Andhra Pradesh would have to set up its own base and training center, as both the training center of the Greyhounds were located in Hyderabad only. तो इनका जो ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड था ना, दोनों ही यहाँ पे हैदराबाद में ही था, जो कि तेलंगाना में आ जाता है. So this act provided that Andhra Pradesh should have its own training ground. ठीक है, so bifurcation के बाद वो decided that certain contingents of the Greyhounds would work for Andhra Pradesh and certain other would work for Telangana. ठीक है, so the Andhra Pradesh भी कैसा था कि आंध्र प्रदेश में क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड नहीं था, तो because Andhra Pradesh is now a separate state, तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे कहा गया था कि they should also have their own training ground for the Greyhounds. So the Andhra Pradesh cabinet has approved a full-fledged training center cum residential facility in Visakhapatnam, which remains unfunctional due to rehabilitation and resettlement issues. So because of certain issues, the facility which is situated in Visakhapatnam, it is still not functional yet. Okay. तो एट प्रेजेंट 18 यहाँ पे और बेसिकली यहाँ पे जो आप कह सकते हो कि जो 18 कंपनीज है, सो ऑफ ग्रेहाउंड्स कंटिंजेंट इन ऑपरेशनल बेस एट टिमापुरम इन विशाखापट्टनम, व्हिच वाज अ मेक शिफ्ट अरेंजमेंट आफ्टर बाइफर्केशन. तो देखिए क्या हुआ है, मेक शिफ्ट क्या होता है, मेक शिफ्ट इज अ काइंड ऑफ टेम्पोररी एंड ऑफ लो क्वालिटी, मतलब आप कह सकते हो कि हिंदी में आप कह सकते हो काम चलाओ टाइप ऑफ एन अरेंजमेंट. ठीक है, तो ये बाइफर्केशन के बाद बिकॉज आंध्र प्रदेश के लिए ऐसा कोई परमानेंट सोल्यूशन नहीं था, सो 18 कंपनीज ऑफ द ग्रेहाउंड they had their operational base in Thimmapuram in Visakhapatnam. And बाकी जो आंध्र प्रदेश का जो ये बाकी 10 है ना, बाकी 10 जो है आंध्र प्रदेश का, they are still based in Hyderabad only. ठीक है, they are still based in Hyderabad. So when they will have their own facility and arrangement, तो इनको वहां पे शिफ्ट कर दिया जाएगा. But till now ऐसा कुछ नहीं है आंध्र प्रदेश में, they are still working in a makeshift manner. So this is a prelims practice question from Greyhounds. We'd love to have your answers in the comment section. Now, next article is about cloudburst. अब cloudburst क्या होता है? It is an heavy amount of precipitation. So this article is quite similar to the one that we have covered in the last video, that is about the urban flooding in Bengaluru के बारे में. So why do you think so much about cloudburst and flooding these days? It is only because क्योंकि अभी तक आप देखोगे फिलहाल में अभी साउथ वेस्ट मानसून का महीना है. ठीक है, साउथ वेस्ट मानसून जो कि जून में स्टार्ट होता है, सितंबर तक का रहता है. तो ये जो पीरियड है, दिस इज द पीरियड ऑफ साउथ वेस्ट मानसून which accounts for 70% of India's rainfall. This is the reason why, because of this rainfall only, because of this precipitation, so many things are going around in the country. ठीक है, so what is the cloudburst? It is the cloudburst जो ये न्यूज़ है, this has been taken from the Hindu. अब recently उत्तराखंड के पित्तौरगढ़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ये cloudburst हुआ है. So cloudburst is an extreme amount of precipitation in a short period of time. बहुत कम टाइम के अंदर में अगर बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश होता है तब उसे क्लाउडबर्स्ट कहते हैं. समटाइम्स accompanied by hail होता है, थंडर होता है, which is also capable of creating flood conditions. So cloudburst can quickly dump large amounts of water. This article, same as the flood, it is also important for GS paper 1 geography point of view and also from GS paper 3 disaster management point of view. So this recent incident of cloudburst has occurred in the Lasco River, which flows close to the India-Nepal border in Uttarakhand, and this particular precipitation, this heavy precipitation has led to significant damages of life and property. A woman has also died and close to 30 houses were destroyed in the cloudburst incident in the Lasco River in the Pittorgarh district of Uttarakhand. So क्या होता है cloudburst? Cloudbursts are sudden, violent and voluminous amounts of rain in a short duration that is local in nature. मतलब इसका जो coverage है ना वो बहुत दूर तक का नहीं रहता है, एक small area में और एक small period of time के लिए रहता है. So cloudbursts are defined by the amount of rainfall. So rainfall के amount में कितना rainfall हो रहा है उसके हिसाब से cloudburst define किया जाता है. और इंडिया में जो यहाँ पे वेदर का जो डिपार्टमेंट है, that is the Indian Meteorological Department. Now this it says कि 100 mm millimeter of rain in an hour over a region of 20 to 30 square kilometer is called a cloudburst. ठीक है, इसी को कहते हैं cloudburst कहा जाता है. So it is defined as a hydrological hazard due to their aggressive nature and the scale of destruction. So ये जो IMD है, Indian Meteorological Department, it is the agency of Government of India only, which is responsible for meteorological observation, weather forecasting and seismology. तो उनके definition से ही यहाँ पे 100 millimeter of rain एक घंटे में over a region of 20 to 30 square kilometer. ठीक है. So in India, cloudburst occurs during the time of the southwest monsoon from the month of June. So cloudburst is difficult to predict since it occurs suddenly with a catastrophic force, and therefore because ये predict नहीं किया जा सकता है, तो it inflicts enormous losses to the lives and you can say in the form of landslide हो गया, in the form of flood हो गया, तो ये बहुत life and property को नुकसान पहुंचाता है. So I have taken this diagram to explain you the mechanism of the cloudburst. So as you can see, this is taking place in the mountain. The mountains में the rainfall which has been caused by the presence of mountains is known as orographic rainfall. Take it is limited to the mountains only. Orographic rainfall. There are also certain other kinds of rainfall like cyclonic rainfall and convectional rainfall. If you read geography, you will come across those topics. So अब देखिए यहाँ पे क्या होता है, warm and humid air moves upward. It's because of the slope of the mountains. ठीक है, तो ये स्लोप को फॉलो करता है और वो ऊपर चला जाता है. ऊपर में क्या आता है, कंटिन्यूअस राइज ऑफ एयर मास फ्रॉम लार्ज क्लाउड. ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोसेस ऑफ कंडेंसेशन और बिकॉज ऑफ द लो टेम्परेचर एट द हायर लेवल्स, तो यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर कम होने के कारण कंडेंसेशन टेक्स प्लेस एंड ऑल्सो रिजल्ट्स इन फॉर्मेशन ऑफ लार्ज फॉर्म्स और लार्ज बॉडी ऑफ क्लाउड्स. ठीक है, उसके बाद यहाँ पे देखिए ऊपर में क्या रहता है, जैसे जैसे यहाँ पे सरफेस एयर रहता है ना, तो ऊपर में लैक ऑफ अपर एयर. तो बिकॉज देयर इज नो अपर एयर प्रेजेंट, सो इट प्रिवेंट्स एनी काइंड ऑफ डिसिपेशन. मतलब यहाँ पे स्प्रेडिंग नहीं होता है. तो अगर क्लाउड स्प्रेड नहीं होता है तो डेफिनेटली दे विल कंसंट्रेट, दे विल आल्सो फ्रॉम इवन बिगर क्लाउड्स. ठीक है, तो फाइनली द वाटर कंसेंट्रेशन इंक्रीजेस. सो दिस इंक्रीज वाटर कंसेंट्रेशन विल कॉजेस सडन लोकलाइज्ड डाउनपोर ऑफ वाटर, डेफिनेटली अंडर द इंपैक्ट ऑफ ग्रेविटी. तो ये जो यहाँ पे वाटर है, इट फाइनली फॉल्स डाउन. Then steep slope जो यहाँ पे माउंटेन्स में जो रहता है and the lack of vegetation, vegetation cover it causes flash flood as well. तो यहाँ पे flash flood होता है and also यहाँ पे you will find the landslides also taking place. ठीक है, so orographic rainfall जो है, I'll just tell you what is orographic rainfall. Orographic rainfall, it is because of the wind blowing in one direction of the mountains. तो अगर मान लीजिए ये mountains है, mountains का मान लीजिए कि यहाँ पे right hand side से आ रहा है wind, तो जो windfall जो यहाँ पे जो साइड है ना, इस साइड को कहा जाता है विंडवर्ड साइड. और रेनफॉल जो है, ये रेनफॉल भी विंडवर्ड साइड में ही होता है. ठीक है, द रेनफॉल आल्सो टेक्स ऑन द विंडवर्ड साइड. द अदर साइड जो है उसे कहा जाता है लीवर्ड साइड. ठीक है, जिस दिशा से विंड ब्लो नहीं कर रहा है ना, उसे कहा जाता है लीवर्ड साइड. सो दिस होल थिंग, दिस होल फिनोमेना जो यहाँ पे दिखाया गया है, एक तरफ से आ रहा है, एक तरफ से मतलब बारिश कॉज हो रहा है. ये आप इस तरीके से मत समझिए कि फ्रॉम लेफ्ट टू राइट, ये आप समझिए कि ऑन वन साइड ओनली. ठीक है, अब ये समझिए कि एक ही दिशा से यहाँ पे ऊपर जा रहा है, क्लाउड फॉर्म हो रहा है, और एक ही दिशा में यहाँ पे रेनफॉल भी कॉज हो रहा है. बिकॉज ऑन द अदर साइड ऑफ द माउंटेन ना, वहां पे लेकिन बारिश कॉज नहीं होता है. दैट इज नोन एज रेन शेडो एरिया ऑफ द माउंटेन्स, विच इज ऑन द लीवर्ड साइड, मतलब द साइड विच हैज नो विंड. ठीक है, बिकॉज ओरोग्राफिक रेनफॉल इज कॉज्ड ऑन द विंडवर्ड साइड ओनली. ठीक है, सो क्लाउड बर्स्ट दे ऑकर मोस्टली ओवर द रगेड टेरेन्स, ओवर द हिमालयस, द वेस्टर्न घाट्स एंड द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न हिल स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया ड्यू टू द ओरोग्राफिक लिफ्टिंग टुगेदर विच हैज स्ट्रॉन्ग मॉइस्चर कंटेंट. ठीक है, सो दे कन्वर्ज, बेसिकली यहाँ पे कन्वर्जेंस होता है एंड दैट कैन लीड टू इंटेंस क्यूमुलोनिम्बस क्लाउड. तो यहाँ पे जो क्लाउड जो आपको दिख रहा है, दिस लार्ज क्लाउड, नाउ दे आर नोन एज व्हाट, दे आर नोन एज क्यूमुलोनिम्बस क्लाउड. ठीक है, दे आर वेरी डेंस इन नेचर, दे हैव a huge amount of moisture present in them. Now the heavy rainfall on steep slopes trigger landslide हो सकता है, debris flow and also flash floods causing significant destruction and loss to people, to life and property. So northeast is also highly vulnerable. Why? Because of its hilly terrain. तो northeast में भी you'll find कि monsoon के time में काफी rainfall होता है and also in places like Meghalaya also records event of cloudburst. ठीक है, in fact Assam has also in the recent past it has also recorded the incident of cloudburst. So what is the way forward? what can we do about it? So cloudburst जो है, it is the cloudburst जो prone region है ना, now they should be mapped using automatic rain gauges, ठीक है? So if cloudburst prone regions are co-located, अगर पास में है with landslide भी अगर वहाँ पे होता है, then this location can be identified as hazardous in nature. तो यहाँ पे जितना हो सके यहाँ पे जो भी precautionary measures है तो वो यहाँ पे लेना पड़ता है. So with the Indian Meteorological Department enhancing its automatic weather stations, we may have early data that can help map cloudburst prone region. तो यहाँ पे जो भी अभी हम टेक्नोलॉजिकली एडवांस मैकेनिज्म हम यूज कर रहे हैं especially by the IMD, now those particular data can be used to zone the places. ठीक है, they would be used to locate the places with high chances of cloudburst as well as the landslide. So people in risk prone areas should be moved. यहाँ पे उनको जल्दी से आप कह सकते हो कि रेस्क्यू करना चाहिए, and construction and mining in nearby regions should be restricted so that यहाँ पे लैंडस्लाइड जो है यहाँ पे ताकि ज़्यादा इफेक्ट ना करे, as that can aggravate. यहाँ पे क्या कर सकता है, if यहाँ पे construction and mining activities carry होता है, then it would aggravate, that is it would worsen the landslide and flash flood impacts. Okay. So the next article has been taken from Arunachal Pradesh about a women police station that has been recently inaugurated by the Home Minister Bamang Felix. So this article has been taken from the Arunachal Times and it is important from the GS paper one point of view from the role of women and women's organization. Let's see. अब देखिए ये जो सारे इनिशिएटिव्स है ना, दैट इज सेटिंग अप ऑफ द वन पुलिस स्टेशन, तो सच इनिशिएटिव्स आर इंस्ट्रूमेंटल टुवर्ड्स प्रोवाइडिंग जस्टिस टू वुमेन एंड चिल्ड्रन एज वेल. तो चिल्ड्रन के केस में भी ये तो वन पुलिस स्टेशन है, बट इन दिस केस चिल्ड्रन को भी हेल्प होता है, बिकॉज चिल्ड्रन के केस में भी फॉर इन्वेस्टिगेशन पर्पसेस वी नीड टू एग्जामिन द चिल्ड्रन एट एन एनवायरनमेंट व्हिच इज फ्रेंडली टू द चाइल्ड एंड स्पेशली बाय वुमेन ऑफिसर्स सो दैट दे डोंट फील फोबिक और fearful. So it is the first women police station in West Siang district, which was inaugurated by Home Minister Bamang Felix. Let me tell you, it is not the first one in Arunachal Pradesh, but the first one in West Siang district only. There has been 21 women police stations which have been already sanctioned in the state. Out of them, it is the 7th one, and this has become functional under its OC Inspector Jeshek Puri. तो यहाँ पे कौन-कौन आए थे? This inauguration was attended by Industries Minister and also the MLAs and the IGP of Central Range. ठीक है, now they were present in this occasion. Now some other locations which already have a women police station in Arunachal Pradesh are Teju, Tawang, Pasighat, Sepa and Itanagar. जो Itanagar है ना, Itanagar में यहाँ पे inaugurate हुआ था, the first one back in the year 2013, and the second one came up in Sepa in the East Kameng district in 2018. ठीक है. So based on this current topic, there's a police practice question. Please attempt in the comment section. Now, regarding the questions that I've shared in the previous video, so ये था list of the questions. Now let's look at the answers. So the answers are, so the river Teesta, in the case of India, it flows through Sikkim and West Bengal, and finally it enters Bangladesh. So the Central Malaria Bureau in the year 1909 was established in Kasauli in the state of Himachal Pradesh. The Pankhoswai festival belongs to which of the following tribe? It belongs to the Bugun tribe and it is celebrated in the West Kameng district of Arunachal Pradesh. So for now, that was all from our side for this session. Thank you so much for joining and we'll meet the next one. Bye bye and take care.